The Prodigy is a brand new 2019 horror film starring Taylor Schilling, Piper Chapman from Orange is the New Black. This is a film that just kind of passed by me at the theater. I knew of its existence. I knew it was there. I just didn't go to it. I don't honestly know why. It wasn't something I was compelled to go see, though. And so when it came to Redbox, I went and I grabbed it and I checked it out. And I thought it was a little better than average. Actually, better than I expected it to be. I saw a lot of ho-hum, a lot of meh, and a lot of this is not good. Well, I actually kind of mostly only saw like middle of the road, cookie cutter, stuff like that. And while I will agree to an extent, I did think there was enough moments in this movie that actually kind of propelled it just out of like mediocre. I thought it was like, if I guess I would put it like a 6 out of 10 as opposed to a 5, maybe a 6.5. There were a couple moments in the film that I really genuinely liked, that I thought that put a new spin on something, or was a new sequence that I had never really seen done in that way before. So they did take something, yes, the base story, which is a kid who's born and he is thought to be a genius, so they enroll him in these genius classes, and he also starts exhibiting bad behavior as well, and one doctor seems to think that it has to do with reincarnation. And it essentially plays out like a possession flick. And while that's been done a trillion times, and I'm one of the people that likes those films probably the least, I would say anything to do with possession of a character or religious stuff, like, they call in the exorcist or the priests or whatever, those are like my least favorite horror films. They did this in a different way, and the way that they did it different was by reincarnation, which I don't see used almost ever. They'll use possession, and it'll be by a dead spirit who's taking over the body, but this is actual like reincarnation. And the way they explain it for me felt a little convenient for the plot. Like the doctor, when he's explaining it, yes, he's that know-it-all older character that they've put in so many movies to just give blatant exposition so that the writers don't have to actually organically inject it into the script. They could just have one character right in the middle of the movie be like, here's what's happening, and here's all, I'm an accredited source because they have him in so many movies. They always go to this character, freaking Sinister and Dark Skies and every other damn movie in the last like 10 years. They just go to the dude who's seen it all, and he's going to explain everything to him in 5 minutes. But like his explanation for things, as I said, they just feel very convenient for the plot. And honestly, when you think about them, they don't really make any sense. It's like, is it reincarnation or isn't it? Like, what is happening here? And so I can't give away spoilers on what things I liked, but I will say that there is a scare that's used in this movie, which if you saw the trailer, I'm pretty sure it's in the trailer. I'm sure they would have put it in there. I didn't watch the trailer, but I just have a feeling it's in there. But you've seen it a bunch lately. And it was originally used in a movie in the 80s. Like, I think it was an Italian film. I can't remember. I think it was an Argento movie where, and I guess this is a spoiler, but you've seen it a bunch lately. You saw it in Annabelle. You've seen it in other films where like someone's running at the screen and they're like one person, and then they kind of dip out of frame and then they come up and they're a different person. It's a great scare tactic. It looks cool, but it's being overused now. So that was a little frustrating to me to see that. Like, come on, man, come up with your own shit. There is one fucking scene in this, though, that creeped me out. And when I called my brother, because my brother and I are almost the same person, he saw it a while back, and I was like, but there is this one scene that you and I both would have, and he's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yes, of course. We, of course, knew exactly what this scene was. It involves the kid, and when Taylor Schilling comes into his room and he turns around, it's awesome. Fucking creepy as shit. But yeah, I think where this film kind of ultimately failed, though, on more of a negative points here, is the story in the opening, like the connection with the family is rushed through too fast. We have no attachment to this family as a family at all. I didn't feel a connection from the dad to the mom, from the mom to the son, from the dad to the son, from the son to the mom, son to the mom, and the whole family. None of that worked for me. Never at one time did I feel like this was a family. Never at one time did I root for them as a family. Never once did I feel like there was love in that household and that this was a lived-in house with lived-in characters that knew one of another, characters that were married, characters that this was their son and they cared for him and they've been with him for the last 5-6 years. These felt like actors playing their part. There was no connection. There was no, gelling at all between these characters, and they just rushed right through that. It happens so fast. I think they were just kind of speedily trying to get to the scary stuff and the creepy stuff, and unfortunately they just didn't connect us to the family. So why do we care? Why do we care these things are happening? I can watch 1,000 movies where someone's possessed, because as I said, essentially this is a possession movie. I can watch 1,000 movies. Now, if you take a movie like The Exorcist, where Reagan gets possessed, there is a good amount of time where you get to know the family first. And I genuinely care what's happening to Reagan and her mom and whatnot. The family element here is lacking sorely, and that's what makes you not give a shit. But because there are some genuinely creepy, interesting moments in the movie, it just knocked it one step above mediocre, because this was pretty cookie cutter. This was pretty by the numbers, but there's just a few moments that made it cool to me. And those are the only things I'll remember from this film in the future, though. This is a forgettable movie besides those key moments that I'm cherry picking out for my own entertainment. Other than that, this really isn't something to rush to. It's an okay watch. It's something you can throw on late at night if there's nothing else, and it's not going to be a complete waste of your time. Just kind of that was okay. Yeah, all right. And other than that, love me guys. No, let me know what you guys thought of this movie if you saw it. And other than that, adios.